Shalom, brothers. We are back again, and there are two sides to everything. And the same way we wanted to encourage our baby brothers and sisters uh, to not despise the small things, especially where the understanding is concerned. The flip side of that is that we have some brothers which we would call them, we're going to say to our big brothers and big sisters, okay? We have some questions for you as well, because at the end of the day, we are all brothers and sisters. There is no big I's and little U's on the Father's program. All of us, once we get where we supposed to be, then we don't have no need to be looking at each other trying to measure ourselves or put ourselves up on no pedestal. So we want to come with the flip side to what we call some of our big brothers and sisters. And those are the ones that have went out and acquired the information and have the books and you have everything. You got the concordances, and then you got maps, and you got history, and you got everything. And so the same way that we pose questions for our little brothers and sisters, we're going to pose some questions to you too, and hopefully even you can be encouraged by some of the things that's about to be said. Now, these questions are going to come out of the Apocrypha, 2nd Esdras, 4th chapter. And it reads, the angel was sent to me, the angel that was sent unto me, whose name was Uriel, gave me an answer. Verse 2. And he said, thy heart had gone too far in this world. Do you think you can comprehend the ways of the Most High? Verse 3. Then I said, yeah, my Lord. And he answered me and said, I am sent to show you three ways and to set forth three similitudes before you. Verse 4. Wherefore, if you can declare me one, I will show you also the way that thou desirest to see. And I shall show thee from whence the wicked heart cometh. Now, there are some questions, and I just fell in love with this brother Esdras because, I mean, man, he just had a mouthpiece on him, and he just pleaded back and forth with the Most High. And so here the angel Uriel come to him to give him a question give him an answer concerning some of the things that he was inquiring. And so Uriel said, listen, your heart have gone too far in this world. Do you really think that you can comprehend the ways of the Most High? And these are some of the questions that we want to ask our big brothers and big sisters, because many people think that they have all of the answers. And you think that you got the Most High figured out. And so anytime somebody is doing something, you come with all of this vast information as though you can comprehend the ways of the Most High. And this is the question that Esdras was asked. Do you think, he said, you've gone too far in this world. Do you really think that you can comprehend the ways of the Most High? And Esdras said, listen to his response. Yes, my Lord. And then some of our big brothers are like that because they don't think there's no limit to the things that they can learn or understand. Now, let's look at how Uriel dealt with him. And he answered me and said, I am sent to show you three ways to set forth three similitudes before thee. Verse 4. Wherefore, if you can declare unto me one, I will also show you the way that thou desire. He said, now I'm going to set 3 questions before you. And if you can answer just one of them, I will show you everything that your heart desires to see. All right. And I said, verse 5, and I said, tell on, my Lord. Then he said unto me, go thy way, and weigh me the weight of fire. Go thy way and weigh me the weight of fire, or measure me the blast of the wind, or bring me again the day that hath passed already. Then I answered and said, what man is able to do that thou shouldest ask such things of me? Now here's the thing. Nobody knows everything. All right. And so to some of our big brothers and sisters, you don't know everything either. And it don't make no difference how much information you acquire. You cannot comprehend the ways of the Most High. Because the scripture says, as far as heaven is from the earth, that the Father's ways are apart from ours. His ways are not our ways. Okay? And so we must be balanced with the things that we are learning, and be balanced with how we deal with our brothers and sisters that do not have as much information. Because I assure you, it makes no difference how much information that you have. Your information is nothing when it's compared to the wisdom and the understanding of the Most High. So, Esdras couldn't answer one of the questions. So he said, well, what man could do that? What man could do that? Well, when it comes to some of these things and some of these questions being shot back at some of our brothers that have declared within themselves that they're wise because of the things that they learn, when we shoot questions at them that they're unable to answer, when we shoot information at you that will be too high for your understanding, then suddenly you will make an excuse like Esdras did. What man could answer this question? What man could answer this question? But nevertheless, you did not deal with your brother or your sister that were without understanding in that manner. You should have understood that some information is too high for a baby to accept. All right? Now, here's what the angel told him. And he said unto me, if I should ask you how great the dwellings are in the midst of the sea, how many of the springs are in the beginning of the deep, or how many springs are above the firmament, or which are the outgoings of paradise? Verse 8, peradventure, thou was saying to me, I never went down to the deep, nor as yet into hell, neither did I ever climb up into heaven. Nevertheless, now have I asked thee, but only of the fire and the wind, and of the day wherewith through that thou pass, and of the things from which thou canst not be separated, and yet thou can give me no answer. You see, my brothers, to you, my brothers that's out there, my big brothers and sisters that's out there depending on your information and the knowledge that you are acquiring. You understand what I'm saying? See, the Father's wisdom is so much higher than yours could ever be. That when you set yourself up over your brothers because of the things that you have learned, then the Father shall bring you down low, because he will shoot things at you to bring you to the point to where you understand what the scripture was meaning when it says, let him that think he is wise become a fool that he may be wise. See, many of you need to become as fools so that you can be wise, instead of thinking that your knowledge and your understanding and your study habits are what going to bring wisdom into you. He said, you won't be wise that way, because there are some things that you could never know, period. And so now we're going to look at what's at the root of it. Okay. We're going to skip over here We're going to skip over here to the Wisdom of Solomon. And there's some more questions for you. If I can find that page. Okay, we're going to skip over here to the Wisdom of Solomon. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at the root of where it comes from. And for some of my big brothers and sisters, everybody is not going to be able to receive everything. And every video that's made is not made for everybody. But to them that are able to receive it, it could become a great benefit with you because it teaches us what's lying at the root of a thing. For there are many brothers that come on my page, and I mean, I'm grateful. I respond to anything, you know what I mean? I'm not going to argue with you about nothing, but I also can detect the difference between when somebody's trying to build themselves up or when somebody's genuinely seeking to add to whatever it is that they bring in. So we're going to look at the root of it. This is going to be verse 8 of chapter 5 in the Wisdom of Solomon. It says, what had pride profited us? Or what good had riches with our vaunting brought us? Pride is at the root when we don't understand that the spirit has to be out front of the knowledge that we are receiving. Anytime the spirit is not out front of the knowledge that we are receiving, then we are operating in the flesh up under the influence of pride. But he said pride will not profit you anything. Verse 9. All those things are passed away like a shadow, and as a post that hasted by. Verse 10. And as a ship that passeth over the waves of water, which when it is gone by, the trace thereof cannot be found, neither the path of the keel in the waves. Verse 11. Or as a bird when it had flown through the air, there is no token of her way to be found, but the light air being beaten with the stroke of her wings and parted the wind with the violent noise and the motion of them is passed through, and therein afterwards there is no sign where she is to be found. Or like an arrow, when an arrow is shot at a mark, it parted the air, which immediately come together again, so that a man cannot know where it went through. Even so we, in like manner, as soon as we were born, began to draw near to our end, and had no sign of virtue to show, but were consumed in our own wickedness. Now here is wisdom at its finest. To my brothers and sisters, my big brothers and sisters, that are solely relying on your knowledge. And we're skipping off into ancient texts and old Kemet Egyptology and Igbo language and Hebrew language, the original Hebrew Masoretic texts. And we're going through all of this stuff right here to acquire information to come back and match wits with each other and impress each other with what it is that we know. But let me ask you a question. As a sea that travels through the water, when it passes through, it parts the waves. And when it's gone, the waves immediately come back together. Now, which one of you can draw with pinpoint accuracy the place where that ship passed through once it is gone? Or like a bird that flies through the air, and her wings, as she moves through the air, parted the wind. It opens up the wind. As soon as she's gone through, the wind immediately closes back up. And which one of you, with your understanding and your knowledge, can with pinpoint accuracy point at the specific spot that that bird flew through the wind and parted the air? Or like an arrow, that when an archer shoots an arrow at a target, it travels, and as it travels, it parts the wind and moves through the wind, and immediately when it's gone, the wind comes back together. And which one of you can show the exact spot where that arrow opened up the air and went through? You see what I'm talking about now? You see, because there is an information that we could use if it came down to matching wits with each other. Because man's wisdom will fail. Okay? Even so, like those things, from the moment we were born, we were drawn to the grave. And that is what's going to happen. That is the end result of all man. And no man's wisdom could save him from his fate. But we want to put these type of messages on here so that we can understand, big brothers and sisters, you have to have some serious balance, because to whom much is given, much shall be required. And he who causes the least of these, my brothers, to stumble, it were better if you hung an anvil around his neck and threw him in the sea and let him choke to death in the water. Because that is how serious the Father is about the least ones, those babies that do not quite have the understanding. They never seen no Hebrew language. They don't know nothing about no Igbo. They don't know nothing about no Masoretic Texas and all of these things. But they can comprehend the simple message of love that comes through the loins of the Messiah. And so though the Father gives us, what he gives us is not all we can have. We can have as much as we are willing to chase after. But we have to use balance with the things that we are learning. And so, big brothers and sisters, hear me now. When you are learning the deep hidden mysteries of the Most High, then when you go to communicate those things, you have to have balance and communicate those things with people that are on the same level as you, lest you cause confusion and cause the least of these to stumble, because the babies are watching, trying to pick and choose. Which way should we go? What should we learn? What can I use over here? We have to have balance with the things that the Father is giving us. Now, I hope somebody been encouraged. So, keep up the good work, big brothers and big sisters. Just remember, pride does not profit us. And we'll have to keep everything that the Father give us in the right framework or the right arena to which it is to be used if it's going to be effective. Shalom.